in tourism and wildlife management, and also a bachelor degree in wildlife and conservation. And I'm very, very happy to welcome you to Kenya, because it is really a welcoming, because I'm very glad all of you can join us this evening. So today we are going to talk about Amboseli National Park, since we will actually have 4 sessions. But today we are only going to talk about 1 session, that is Amboseli National Park. Then maybe the coming week, we will talk about Lake Nakuru National Park, and then followed by Masai Mara, and then Samburu National Reserve. So I actually tried to get the most popular parks, and also they are very unique. And those are the ones that people go a lot when they come to the country, because it is an easy package to make. It is easy to travel between those 4 parks. So I just want to introduce you about Amboseli National Park, which is one of the parks that is found in the southern part of the country that are actually bordered Tanzania as another country in East Africa. So as you can see, I hope everyone can see my screen, and as you can see, it is the gate of Amboseli National Park, whereby the name has a meaning, as the Maasai people are the community that live around that area. So the meaning of the Amboseli, it is actually a Maasai-driven name from the word Ambosel, and in Maasai name, Ambosel means salt, or a place with salinity in the soil. So that is what Amboseli means as a national park. And also the way the Amboseli National Park started, it actually started as a southern reserve for the Maasai community back in 1906. That is actually after the explorers like Jeremy Thompson visited the park as a tourist, and actually as an explorer. And that is actually the time he said he's the one that discovered Thompson gazelle. So that's why when you go to the park, you can hear your guide telling you that is a Thompson gazelle. So that is actually where Jeremy Thompson visited, and he said he's the first one to discover the gazelle, and therefore that gazelle was named after him. Then back in 1948, that is now the time the park was again established or changed from the Southern Reserve of Maasai to a national reserve under the county government of Kajiado. And then in 1974, the park was published to be a national park that is now under the Kenya Wildlife Service. So the board of management is Kenya Wildlife Service. So all the time when you go to these parks, the first thing you will always do is to check if there is availability or if there is accommodation in the place as a tourist, or also as a tour operator. We normally try to get some accommodation for our clients. So I'm just going to give you a brief of some of the hotels that are found in the area, whereby we have 3 lodges inside the park. That is Serena Safari Lodge. We also have Oltukai. As you can see, that is the pool and the view. Kilimanjaro is just after the dust. That is the dust you can see because of the wind. We also have Totilis. It is a bit on the western side of the park. And then also we have some other parks. We also have some other lodges that are actually found outside the reserve, the park. So I just want to share with you the map of Amboseli National Park. The map, I'm actually getting it from the website of my travel company, because the name you can see here is a website of Taye Safaris. That is the company that I'm working on. It is my company. So I'm just going to open the website and show you the map of Amboseli National Park, so that at least you can be able to get to know in the country where is Amboseli in Kenya and how does it look like. So as you can see in the map, this is actually the map of Amboseli National Park. So all the accommodations you can see, I was talking about the accommodations later. Outside the gray map, these are actually the accommodations that are found outside the park. Then you can see Amboseli Serena Lodge, the one I just showed you the picture, Oltukai Lodge in the middle of the park, then also Totilis in the western side of the park. So also you can see this park has 3 gates. There's this one called Kichirwa Gate. You can actually use it when you are coming from western side of the park. For example, if you are coming from Tanzania, and then you're going through Namanga border, you can use this gate. And then also we have Iremito Gate. That is another gate that you can use while coming, for example, from Nairobi or Tsavo National Parks. Then we have another gate in this side called Kimana Gate. It's not indicated here, but there's another gate called Kimana. Then there is another one called Meshanani Gate. It is also in the northwest of the park. So we will actually be able to learn more about this map later, because we are going to see how does it work with the swamps that we have, or the geography in general of the park. So another thing we are going to learn today is the general information of the park. Why do people visit Amboseli National Park as one of the attractions in the country? So number one, what you can see is the elephants. This park is the leading in the world country or in Africa with the largest herds of elephants moving together, whereby people can actually come close to them because they are not very violent, and also that is the nature of them in the area. So the picture, you can see the elephant are actually walking out of the swamps to go to the base of Kilimanjaro or to outside the park to get some trees and shrubs. Then also you can be able to see another herd coming that is from the base of Kilimanjaro. They're actually going towards the swamps of Amboseli. So that is number one about the elephant, why people visit Amboseli National Park. It's the main thing is about the elephant, and definitely the summit or the peak of Africa, that is Mount Kilimanjaro. So what you can see in the picture is Mount Kilimanjaro, whereby it is the highest mountain in Africa, whereby the height of it is 5,895 meters above sea level. Meters above sea level. So that is the height of Mount Kilimanjaro. And actually it has 3 major parts. And the first one is the peak, whereby you can see some snow. The peak is called Kibo, that is the main one. Then the one you can see on the left side of the main one is called Mawenzi. It's also a small peak that erupted some time back. Then on the right side of the mountain, it's also another slope with a small peak. It is called Shira. So we also have people visiting this park to get such pictures, whereby when even you try sometimes to go and search about Amboseli, the first picture you will see is elephants walking from Kilimanjaro sides towards the swamps or inside the park, or the elephants moving from the swamps to the base of Kilimanjaro. So that is actually in the photographic side, whereby people who are photographers or family travelers That is the sighting or the picture the guide will make sure that they will get, because that is the memory. That is the thing that will actually make you to remember about Amboseli. Since the major thing is Mount Kilimanjaro, that is actually found in Tanzania, but Kenyans believe we own the view. The view is in the Kenyan side, and also the elephants, whereby I told you it is the leading park in Africa with the biggest herds of elephants moving together. Then another thing is the swamps that you can see. The big percentage of the park is actually a dry area. It's like a semi-arid area. And actually this happens due to the many years back volcano eruption that happened in the park. So that is actually the leeward side of the mountain, that the leeward side doesn't always receive a lot of rain. So it is the drier side of the mountain. So the same ecosystem will go up to Tsavo National Park, like the Chulu Hills in Tsavo West, whereby there is a lot of porous rocks and the volcano ashes that happened in Kilimanjaro and Chulu Hills. So we also have these small iceberg-like hills, whereby they are actually formed in the resistance of the volcano, and they are surrounded by small slopes, like the one that you can see here. These are actually the volcano lava flows that happened many years back, because it is believed that Mount Kilimanjaro, the last eruption actually happened 200,000 years ago. So the lava flows that happened in the main peak, that is Kibo, and flow to this park, and actually it is now formed, it's like a small iceberg. Then this picture actually was taken in one of the small hill called Nomotiok. Nomotiok in Maasai names, it actually means a place with a lot of sufuria, the one things that people use to cook, because it has some porous rocks, whereby the Maasai believe they actually look like places where women or men used to cook. So they give it the name Nomotiok in Maasai name. Then another thing, the park also have around 400 species of birds, that is including flamingos, whereby they just came recently, 2-3 years ago. And actually it also have around 47 species of raptors. Then now, when it comes to the western side of the park, the picture you can see here was taken in Lake Amboseli. Lake Amboseli is completely dry, doesn't have water, because it was formed by the damming of paleo channels that are actually paleo panels of River Pangani. There was a river that was flowing along Lake Amboseli, but actually it is believed that the eruption, it was actually dammed because there were some tunnels that are going through the lake, and then it dammed the river in the form due to the eruption related to Kibo. So Kibo is actually this main peak, the main peak of Mount Kilimanjaro. So there are some tunnels that actually going underground to this place whereby River Pangani was, and it burst to form something like a dam. So that's why you find most of the time there is no vegetation that grow in this area. But now as guides, because I know most of the guides are in this program now watching, we have actually observed that there are a lot of vegetation that have grown in part of the lake, And this is actually because of the recent rain that have been raining for last year and also this year. So when the rain happen, heavy rain happen, there is that floods. And when floods happen, there is a lot of vegetation that are being washed away or brought by water to the lake. Therefore, now there are those intruders or intruding plants that have actually been introduced by to the lake by the rainwater. So at least now when you go to the park, you can be able to see some vegetation, whereby some years back, like when I took this picture, you can actually drive up to the middle of the lake and there is no vegetation at all. But now it's a bit tricky because when it rained, a lot of vegetation grew up in western side of the lake towards the north, in the eastern side toward the northeast of the lake. And also the swamps that I've just shown you the picture later, these swamps, they normally get water in two ways. Number one, the biggest volume of this water of the swamp is rainwater. But at the same time, during dry season when there is no water, because the area is a bit semi-arid, so sometimes it can be with long time without water. There is what is called the flow of groundwater through hydrostatic pressure. This water actually comes due to the melting. When the snow of Mount Kilimanjaro melt, it takes some time, like some years, and flow underground through hydrostatic pressure and come out in some springs, because we have major swamp called Enkongo Narok. Enkongo Narok is the main place whereby this hydrostatic pressure water actually come up through Enkongo Narok, because Enkongo in Maasai name mean source, the source of water. And then Narok, it is actually means black. The meaning of the black in that source of water is that there is a lot of porous rocks that are mixed with the volcano lava flow in that place. And then it makes the water that comes from underground through hydrostatic pressure to look dark or black when it is coming out, because of that mix-up of those porous rocks and the volcano ashes that are actually happened to many years back through Kibo Peak of Kilimanjaro. So when this water come out, they actually flow and fill the rest of the swamps in the park, because we have some major swamp in the western side of the park near Oltukai Lodge. Then also the Enkongo Narok swamp. It is actually located in the south west of the park. That is actually not far from Serena Lodge. I just want to share with you the map so that you can be able to see where that swamp is. So as you can see here, this is Amboseli Serena Lodge. I guess you can see the map. So this is where Enkongo Narok is. As you can see from the map, Enkongo Narok swamp, it is not far from Amboseli Serena Lodge. So that is actually the main source of water to the swamps of Amboseli when the rainwater is not there. So that is the main one. That is where the main water come from. And then again, this water actually is the one that the elephants go and to wallow in during the day, because the area is very hot. So when the elephants leave the mountain in the morning, they actually move towards the swamp during the day. So most of the time of the day, the elephant be in the swamp to feed on the swamp grass. Then in the evening, they have to move. They have to move back to the base of Kilimanjaro or to any other side of the park that doesn't have water. This is because in the night, the water in the swamp is very, very cold. And also, the elephants need to go and get the trees and shrubs food outside the park, mostly because they go outside the park or sometimes just on the park boundary to try to get the trees and shrub, because the elephants can consume between 150 to 300 kgs of food per day. So they have to balance between the swamp and the shrubs, the water, the trees and shrubs outside the park. So most of the time when people visit the area, these are the kind of pictures they try to get when the elephants are moving from the base of Kilimanjaro to the swamp in the morning, and also in the evening when actually they are going back. So that is what happens when people are taking pictures in the place. And then also the rainwater that feeds the swamp, mostly rainy season in the park, it happens between March and April, and also October and November, between October and November. So that is the time you can actually be able to get some rain in the place. Then what you can see in the screen is actually, it's called the devil wind or dust storms. This dust storm happened because the area is a bit dry. So when the wind is there, because we have some big plains, you can actually be able to encounter or to experience this kind of storm in the place. And then now, today, I was actually to give you some information about the elephant as one of the big five, because the next sessions that we will have in Lake Nakuru, I will discuss about rhinos and buffaloes as the big five. And then when you go to Masamara, I will tell you about the lions. Then when it comes to the session of Samburu, we will learn about the leopard. We will really learn about elephant as one of the big five. So first of all, I want to tell you the reason why the big five are so called. Why do big five have that name? So the big five is the African elephant, the leopard, lion, buffalo, and the rhino. So these animals are the most that people hunt for ivory. They hunt elephant for the tusk, they hunt rhino for the horn, and they hunt leopards for the skin and the claws, and sometimes the whole head. Same thing happened to the lions. And also for the buffalo, buffaloes doesn't have any ivory that people can kill so that they can take it away. So what happened, another reason why the big five are so called, it's because they have less enemies in the wild, and also they are very, very dangerous to both human beings and to other animals in the wild. So a buffalo is one of them that actually was selected as a big five because of the danger that they have to both human beings and to other animals in the wild. For example, the buffaloes are the only animal that can actually bring down a lion. As you know, the lions are the kings of jungle. So these guys are very, very dangerous, and that's why they are in the list of the big five. So they were very, very difficult to be hunted. And actually, that's why they are called big five. So what you can see in the picture is the African elephant and the Asian elephant. So I just want to tell you some few differences on how to differentiate between the two species, the two animals. First of all, African elephant, you can see they are big in size, though the picture that I've shared is of one of the massive elephant called Tim. He died early this year. It's a natural death cause. And on the right-hand side, you see the Asian elephant are a bit smaller than the African elephant. So body size is difference number one. And then different number two is the size of the ears. You see the African elephant have very, very big ears compared to the Asian elephant. Also the shape and the size of the head of the African elephant is a bit flat. It's not rounded oval like the Asian elephant, whereby the head is a bit smaller compared to the African elephant. Number three is the tusk. All African elephants have tusk. They can grow their tusk. And for the Indian elephant, most of the big percentage, they don't grow tusk. But some of them, like the bulls, they do grow tusk. Then also the forehead, I think it is small for the Asian elephant because they don't grow tusk, and also the tusk can actually make the head of the elephant to be much bigger. Then when it comes to the height of the elephant, the African elephant can actually be as tall as 10 to 11 feet on the shoulder, can be very big. And when it comes to the weight, they can weigh up to 6 tons, 5.5 to 6 tons. That is for a fully grown up bull elephant. Then when it comes to a bit of internal organs, for example, like the skeleton, African elephant have a lot of bones. So that's why you see they are not very much flexible in their back, because they have around between 320 to 350 bones all over their body. So that's why you see when you see them walking, they just walk gently without like they are so firm when they are walking. Then I also want to share with you on how to differentiate between the male and the female elephant in the wild. So remember this session today, we are actually on the game drive. We are on a real game drive in Amboseli National Park. So it's just like, it's only that we are all seated, but we are in a real game drive. So for the male and the female elephant, so the one on the right side are 3 males, and the one on the female side are females and the young one. So for the male, you can actually see in my mouse, these are forehead. You can see the forehead of male elephant is flat. It's actually flat. And for the female, you can see the forehead is a bit pointed. So that is actually the main way you can be able to differentiate between the male and the female elephant. Doesn't matter if they are young or big, at least when they are at the age between 8 years and above, or even 10, you can be able to use their forehead to differentiate if it is the male or the female. And also the size. The male are always bigger than female. And that is, it happened to most of the mammals, apart from the hyenas, for example, whereby female are bigger than male. But for the elephants, the male are much bigger than female. Also, when it comes to tusk, you find that elephant bulls have larger or bigger tusk than the females. Then also, I want to tell you how to differentiate between a left-handed and a right-handed elephant, because they also have left and right-handed elephant, just like human being, whereby the elephant you can see on the left side, it's a very famous elephant in Amboseli National Park called Crane. You can see he's left-handed because the left task is shorter than the right task. So that is how you can be able to see, is this guy left or right-handed? Then on the right side, you can see the right-hand side task is shorter than the left-hand task. Even you can see this one is actually broken. That means this bull used the right-hand task for most of the work they use for the task, whereby the reason why they are shorter than the others, it is because they use mostly in their lifetime. For example, when they are digging mineral salts, they use their task to dig the ground. For example, the sand when they are digging for water. For example, in Amboseli, when they are leaking the salts, they can actually use that specific task to dig the ground. So most of the time it wears out. Then also they use it to dig the roots of the trees. When they pull down the trees, they want to dig for the roots so that they can chew. They chew actually to get the juice that can help them to get like mineral salts, just like some vitamin sort of. So that is actually, it also wear out when they use them to dig roots. They also use it to debug the trees, like to remove the tree barks for chewing, and also for marking, because elephant also mark trees, whereby you can come up or see the elephant pushing the tree with the tusk. That is actually how they mark. They actually leave a lot of marks on the trunk of the tree. So it also wear out because mostly they use one tusk to do all that. The elephant also use their tusk, for example, during migration, and they want to make a way. Let's say they are going from one place to another, and maybe the corridor they use many years back is closed, or maybe they are using new routes, or for example, they are just in the wild grazing or feeding. They actually use the tusk to make their way. Then another thing they use for, definitely they use it for fighting. When elephants are fighting, you see them, they use their tusk when they are fighting. So it will also get broken or wear out. And also the tusks are the one they use mostly to prevent the trunk when they are fighting. So they have to make sure they use the tusk properly so that the trunk cannot be injured, because you know the trunk is everything for the elephant. So we are actually going to discuss about the trunk now. As you can see, that bull elephant, the trunk is up. It's actually using to scratch the ear, and also they use it to scratch the eyes. And they use it, it's like the nose of an elephant, and at the same time, it is the upper lip. If you can see my mouse, the mouth of the elephant is actually here below. That is the lower lip, and the upper lip now it is also used as a trunk. So that is the upper lip of the elephant. So this trunk has a lot of muscles. It is really masculine, very, very small muscles. It doesn't have bones. What you can only get in the trunk is small fats. So this trunk contain or have between 40,000 to 150,000 muscles. Those are just muscles without any bone. It is just small fats. Then they also use the trunk. As you can see my mouse, this is actually where the elephant used to breathe. Like the way we use our nose to breathe, this is where they use to breathe, in their trunk. Then also they use the trunk, they can use it for sensitivity. They can sense something. Uh, because now it is the nose, So when they put it up, when they are trying to get some smell or something, they can actually be able to sense even danger. That's why for the Maasai people, when they are looking after cows and sheep out there, when we see elephant, I am one of them. When we see elephant, we always try to make sure we are in the opposite direction of the wind, so that this elephant cannot be able to get your smell. This is because the elephant has poor eyesight. They don't see very well, but they have very, very good sense of smell. Then also the elephant use the trunk for touch. They use for touch. That is actually what they use, for example, during communication. They can put the trunk on each other's mouth, and they can also use to touch, like what this one is doing. Is touching the ear, maybe scratching and all that. Also, when they feel there is something in their body, they can use it to take it. And also they use it when they are grazing. It is actually the one that used to grasp the grass or the trees and shrubs when they are eating. They also use the same trunk when they are drinking water. They suck water, and then they just put in their mouth. At the same time, the elephant used the trunk to produce sound. For example, communication. When there is danger, this trunk actually is the one they use. Like now, what I'm using my mouth to talk so that you can hear what I'm saying. They also use the trunk to communicate with the other elephant, but they can also produce a very vocal sound. You cannot be able to hear at a distance like as a human being, but other elephant can be able to hear at a distance of 1.6 miles away. So that is how the elephant use to the trunk for. They can also, the trunk, because of the many muscles they have, it can be able to lift up to 350 kgs. For example, when they are putting down the trees and maybe they want to take the tree to separate, maybe the bush is very big, they want to take the tree away so that they can be able to eat. Or for example, we see elephants when others get stuck, like the calf, they can actually be able to help them to bring them out. Or when the elephants are crossing the rivers, this elephant can still use the trunk to help the calves so that they cannot be able to be taken uh, by the water. So you see, 350 kilos, it's not a joke. That is a lot. So also, when it comes to food, elephant consume between 150 to 300 kgs of food every day. So, but most of the time, you find not all food that get digested for the elephant. So that's why you find for the Maasai community, we actually collect the elephant dung to take home, the fresh one, to take home, cook it like to boil. We sieve it and we mix the boiled water with maize flour and make porridge for the kids. Because the Maasai believe it's not all food that is digested, therefore it has some minerals in it. So that's why the Maasai use the elephant dung or poop to cook for the kids so that they be strong like elephants. And then when it comes to the ears of the elephants, they actually use the ears to regulate body temperatures. For example, you can see this one has a lot of veins. They actually have a lot of capillaries that is actually help the elephant to release the heat from the body. So that's why you find, for example, like this elephant was flapping the ears now and then. That is actually to regulate body temperatures. And then the elephant, they also have around 6 set of teeth. In general, they have around 26 teeth. Two of them are like canines, and that is the tusk. The tusks are also counted as teeth for the elephants. They have 12 premolars and 12 molars. So for the molars and the premolars, mostly for the molars, what happened when the elephant is 2 to 3 years, they actually don't have like milk teeth like any other animal, whereby the first teeth grow and then it disappear later, it goes off later, and then the others grow. So what happened to the elephants? They grow, and then when they actually grow from the back of the mouth. So when these teeth grow, the ones that have already grown on this side in front, they get squeezed by the molars. For example, the premolars get squeezed by the molars from backward. Then when they are being squeezed, they don't have space, therefore they come up. When they come out, that's actually the first one go out when the elephant is 2 to 3 years. That is the first teeth. So that means the elephant are actually born with some little teeth when they are born. So they only lack the tusk, whereby the tusk grow when they are 2 to 2.5 years. Then the second phase of the teeth go off between 4 to 6 years. Then the third one go between 9 to 15 years. And then the fourth one goes when the elephant is 18 to 28 years. Then now the fifth phase of the elephant teeth, they actually wears out when the elephant is early 40s. When they are early 40s, they go off, and actually they cannot be able to grow. So when the elephant is getting old, because the lifespan is 60 to 70 years. So when this elephant is 45 to 50, 55, they don't have the molars, so it is difficult for them to chew food. So that is actually how the elephant die naturally. That is how they die naturally. They die because of starvation. They cannot be able to chew food because they lose all the teeth. Then another thing is about the skin of the elephant. You can see these guys, they have very, very rough skin, but at the same time, it is a very, very sensitive skin. So that's why you see most of the time the elephant, they wallow themselves on the mud or they do dusting. So the reason why they do that, it is to cover the skin to prevent sunburn. Number two, to prevent insect bite. So the moment they wallow themselves, they actually be able to cover the big part of their body so that when the insects bite, it cannot be able to penetrate up to the skin. And also it prevents sunburn, and also it helps the elephant to cool down. Like in case the elephants of Amboseli, they leave the mountain base during the day to go to the swamp to cool down. That is actually it helps them to to release the heat in their body because their skin is very sensitive. So like you can see in this elephant, they're actually walking out of the swamp. You can see this one is wet. They have been wallowing on the mud because outside the swamp there is water, so they try to dig on the side and get that mud so that they can be able to wallow themselves on it. And then also when it comes to the legs of the elephant, they actually have the bones of the legs. For example, when you see this elephant on the right side, you see the joint is a bit, it's not up or it's not in the middle of the leg like any other animal, but it is very, very low. This actually means the elephant can be able to walk freely without leaning their leg that much. And at the same time, the joints of the elephants, the bones are placed to each other like this so that they can be able to move the legs, mostly the front legs, to any direction. And that's why when you find elephant standing, they can actually stand for a long time because they can't get tired in such a way that because the bones are placed to each other. It's not like a real joint like the other animals. So the weight of the whole elephant is actually in front. As you can see, the tusks are also very heavy because elephant tusks weigh between 36 to 68 kilograms. Also, the trunk is also heavy. The ears are also heavy, and the skull, that is the head. So, in front legs of the elephant, they actually have a large surface area so that they can be able to withstand the weight of the elephant. So you find the front leg of the elephant have 5 like toes so that it actually increases the surface area when they are standing or when they are walking so that they can be able to withstand the whole weight. And then also when it comes to resting, some people actually see elephants like the picture you can see. This is not resting their legs, but they are trying to expose their soul, that is the feet, their soul to the air, so that they can, because it gets very hot, so that is how they expose to release some heat from their soul. So guys, that is all I can share with you today about the elephants in Amboseli National Park. And it is time for you to ask if you have some questions. And this is actually the website of my company. I was trying to share the map of Amboseli National Park. Then later on, when we go to the other parks, you'll be able to get the map of the other parks. So I want to allow questions, if any questions. I want it to be as brief as possible so that you guys cannot get tired. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Lenny. Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenny. That was an excellent session. It was really informative, and it was an eye opener to understand the detailed biological and anatomical features of the elephant, and know all the exclusive information you shared with us about Amboseli, Kenya. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And I would definitely like to ask everyone, whoever is online now, please, any questions about Amboseli, any questions about the safaris, the accommodation, the facilities provided, please, this is the right time to ask.
Hi Lenny, Srikanth here. How are you?
Very good.
Lenny, one question on elephants. Basically, I have seen both the species of elephants in Africa, especially male and female,
Yes.
have this one oozing out of their this one on the head. Whereas in male elephant, I understand it is because of the must. But in Asia, you don't find the female elephants having anything oozing out of their head. Only the male elephants with musk you will find them. Is there any particular reason, especially for African elephants, where both species has this?
Okay. So, if I may understand you, do you mean the must when the elephants are on heat, or you mean the task? If it is the do you mean the must or task?
Must. M-U-S.
Okay. Now, the male actually produce the hormones called testosterone.
Yes.
So first of all, they produce the mass in between the ears and the eye.
Right.
So when they produce, they become very aggressive. And
Right.
in that moment, at the same time, they produce what is called testosterone hormone, whereby they spread all over their legs because it comes through the penis. So it will spread all over their legs. And when these elephants walk or move from one place to another, it really smells. The other elephant can be able to get it at a distance. And due to the fact that it is spreading to the legs, it actually make the elephant to step on it. And when they are moving from one place to another, the message is being spread that there is one man that is on it, whereby to go and find the female. So what happened? What happened to the female when they are not always on heat, that is on oesters. The female heat is seasonal. So so it is the male to produce first, and then he is going to look for the female by sniffing the urine, and also to do a lot of tests to make sure this female is on oesters. So it definitely starts from the male, but the female can only produce some discharge that the male can be able to sniff when he puts the trunk in her. Then that is how he can be able to detect. So female doesn't produce the mass, it is mostly the male. The female produce a discharge. Yes.
Okay. One more to the same elephants in Amboseli. Amboseli, I believe, has the largest elephants in the African continent.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the bush elephants, how small will they be? How small will they be?
In Africa, we have the savanna elephant and the forest elephant.
Right.
Forest elephants are mostly found in western part of Africa. So between the two, it is the savanna elephant that is bigger than the forest elephant when you look at the size. So the forest elephant can be between 3.5 to 4.5 tons, and the savanna elephant is actually between 5.5 to 6 tons. So most, I can say the forest elephant, the ones that are found in Western Africa, are almost the same size with the Asian elephant, but they have tusks. They are very similar to savanna elephant, so the only difference is the body size.
Okay. And I think that the tusk goes straight down.
Yes, it actually depends, because some of the elephant grow their tusk when it is not. It is just like human being, whereby all of us have different shape of teeth. So that is the same thing happened to the elephant.
Got it.
So most of them grow from inside the skull down.
Okay. Thank you, Lenny. And a lot of people are waiting to ask you questions, so I'll keep mum right now.
Thank you for your question.
Look forward to seeing you next year. Huh? After COVID, look forward to seeing you in person.
Perfect. Karibu sana.
Sure.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you.
What about the birds? You didn't tell us any bird about the Amboseli Park. We are more interested in birds. It was very good. Thank you very much. But as well as we were waiting for some birds in Amboseli Park.
Yes, actually, I said Amboseli have around 400 species of birds, and it has around 47 species of raptors. For example, what you can see in my screen are flamingos. These flamingos moved or most of the lakes in the Rift Valley to Amboseli National Park 2 years back, and there is a reason for that. Number one, the water level in most of the Rift Valley lakes have increased in volume. And therefore, the food, which is blue algae, cannot be able to grow in such big water. So we believe the water levels in the Rift Valley lakes, because it is not one, it is almost all of them, it have actually risen in level because reason number one, we have been getting a lot of rain, and most of the lakes have inlets whereby the rivers bring water from outside to the lakes. That is reason number one. Another reason is come from the people that did geography. They said the Rift Valley have two walls, and we have seen that. So these two walls of the Rift Valley, after every 100 years, they always try to attract each other. So when they come together, table underground gets squeezed, and therefore it tries to get space by coming out. Therefore, it increases the water volume in the lakes, and the food cannot grow. And these birds called flamingo, they try to go to other places to get food. But places like Lake Natron and Lake Magadi are the main breeding points for the flamingos in East Africa, in Kenya mostly, and northern Tanzania. Those are the main places. And actually, the rain of last year, we had a lot of problem in Lake Magadi and Natron because of high water level, and a lot of nests were swept away by the flash floods. And we didn't get as many young ones as we used to get, whereby most of them move from the breeding point, they be taken to Lake Bogoria, which is also inside the Rift Valley. And some of them come to Amboseli National Park in the swamp. And thank you for your question. Most of the birds we have in Amboseli are water birds, the water birds. So you can actually be able to get so many photos or to learn about birds when you are in Amboseli, mostly in the big percentage because of the swamps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so nice. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? Would anybody else like to clarify something? Please do.
Yeah, Lenny, Ranjit here
Yes.
from Muscat.
Yeah.
How do the elephants sleep? Do they lie down like other animals, or
Thank
they
you.
have another way?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your question. So elephants, they normally sleep very, very short hours. An elephant can sleep between 1.5 to 2 hours in a day. So for the elephant, they sleep standing. They don't lie down most of the time when they are sleeping. They sleep standing. They are mourning, like they mourn. So that is actually how the elephant sleep. And there was a picture that I actually shared with you later, some time back, when an elephant, when one female was resting the leg. Sometimes you find this elephant, they sleep while resting their leg or exposing their soul upwards to put on another leg, like this one. Maybe you can see my screen. That is what they do their legs most of the time, because maybe the areas are very hot, so they try to expose their soul. So they sleep, they can sleep flapping their ears a little bit, or they just fold their ears straight or even backward sometime. That is how they sleep. That is how they sleep.
Lenny, you must
Thank you, Lenny.
Welcome.
You must do some voodoo next year for us to reach there. The corona is so affecting all of us.
Yes, yes.
Paul is actually trying to walk down to Kenya. That much I know. He's already tried it.
Yeah, very much welcome.
Thank you, Bwana Lenny.
Yes.
It has been a good game drive through Amboseli. I've learned a lot.
Karibu sana.
I'm Gulet from Narok. I would like to just request you to mention about the elephant memories.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good
Just
one.
mention so that
Thank
people
you.
can learn more of it.
Thank you for your question. And what happened to the elephant memories? These guys are very intelligent. They are almost like human beings. And actually, they have very good memories. For example, when elephants migrate, for example, like 4 generations back, when they migrate, they can be able to know or to detect this was the route that our ancestors used to move from one place to another. For example, from Amboseli to Nairobi National Park or to Savo, or even from Nairobi National Park to Masai Mara, like what happened some weeks back in Kenya. There were a few elephants that actually moved from Masai Mara to Nairobi. They were going to Nairobi National Park. So you see, these guys have very good memories, and that's why most of the time when you're on safari, you are going to do camping, you are advised not to camp in animal corridors like elephant, because they will definitely use the same route when they are migrating. And also, when one of their member die, if they move from that place to another place and come back maybe after 3 or even 10 years, they have to go back to the same place and mourn. Because when one of them die, they actually mourn. Like they stop, they go to that place, they trumpet. After that, they all stand still without doing anything, just mourning. But they do a lot of trumpet. Another thing, when the elephant give birth, they're like human being, mostly Maasai, because when a woman Maasai give birth, the others go out to shout that we have given birth. That is the same thing happened to elephants. When an elephant gives birth, the others are invited by a trumpet. They come and celebrate the young one that have been born, whereby they sometimes try to chase the mother or the cow away so that they all can be able to get to unite with a newborn. So that is all I can share about the elephant memories. They are very, very intelligent and very smart.
Thank you so much. Great insight. Hoping for another webinar, we shall link up.
Okay, karibu sana.
Hello, good evening, Lenny.
Yes.
Can you tell whether these elephants are fighting each other for any reason, for food or for getting the female partner or anything like that? Or they are normally good and...
Yes, very well.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, Biju, can you please mute for me?
These elephants in Africa, they fight each other for anything, for food or for getting the life partner or for getting the leadership of the group.
Yes, I'm just going to answer your question. Yes, everyone fight for a reason. Elephant also fight because of dominancy. For example, the young bulls. When these young bulls are between 3 years and above, that is actually the time, 2 to 2.5 years, the calf, let me start there. The calf stop nursing the mother because now they are able to graze. And when this elephant are 15 to 16 years, that is actually the time they start for the female to be on oesters, and also for the male, they start to fight with each other because of dominancy. So that's why you find most of the time, big bulls, they try to separate themselves from the big herd so that they don't fight with the young bulls. And when these elephants are between 28 to 30 years, that is the time they start, most of them, they start to produce the testosterone hormone or even their mass. That is the time they start to grow in large, to produce in large quantity. because when they are young, the females cannot be able to mate with them. So when they produce that, that is a sign of aggressiveness. They start to be aggressive, and actually they fight with each other. And then, so when they are on heat, definitely they fight because of females. They fight because of female. This one want to mate with the cow and the other one, so they all fight together. But mostly they don't fight because of food. I've not seen such circumstances of such cases. They are not like cats because grass are everywhere. But if, for example, they bring down a tree and they are eating and maybe there is food scarcity, always there are those ones that try to fight each other so that they be the first one to eat. So that is why the elephant fight. There is always a reason for the fight. But what you can see in the picture, those ones who are not fighting, because I took the picture, it is just playing. They also play so that they can train themselves. And also it is a sign of communication between the elephant. You can say they are fighting, but not just a kind of communication.
Thank you, Lenny.
Hey, one more question on elephants. If others doesn't have it, I will hold my questions if others have it. Because I can ask you hundreds of questions on elephants. Unfortunately, I'm very keen on them.
Yes.
Prakash ji, any feedback or questions from you? Prakash ji from FSO, are you online?
Right, Lenny, I'll go with the question. Lenny, Amboseli has a maximum elephant population but less of lions. But in the other side of Kenya, Masai Mara, you have a lot of lions. Now, the elephants being attacked by lions for food is probably quite common in Masai Mara rather than in Amboseli. But are there these lions attacking elephants in Amboseli?
Actually, I can tell you the population of the lions in Amboseli National Park, it's not very big because the area is a bit semi-arid. It is very dry, and therefore that's why we don't have many cats. So for the lions, they can only attack a calf of an elephant. They don't attack
the
like
major
big
ones,
elephant.
the bold ones.
But remember in Amboseli, they have very, very big herds of elephant. And when there is danger, they always try to protect each other. So there is high security, so it is like 100% impossible for the lions to attack elephant in Amboseli National Park.
I have a question for Lenny.
Yes, Ajahn.
Is there any human and elephant conflicts are going on there sometimes?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes, you know, the communities that live around the park, whereby most of them are Maasai, like for example, Amboseli, it is Maasai people live around there. We have Masai Mara, Maasai people, Samburu, Maasai, and also in Tsavo National Parks, whereby the other communities live around the park. They actually sometimes the wild animals come out of the park and eat their crops, and sometimes the lions can get out and eat their cows, and the elephants can go out and kill people. And sometimes people can be inside the park, for instance, when there is a dry spell. So the people can go inside to look for water and pasture for their wildlife, and therefore they encounter or they can get killed by this animal. So yes, there is always, even just like us as human beings, when we live with our neighbors, we always fight in one way or another. We always quarrel because of ABCD. So definitely that is the same thing apply between human beings and animals, because we fight for habitat, we fight for food. So yes, sometimes, but it is not very common. The Kenyan people, they 100% know tourism in Kenya is the major thing. And most of the people around the park, they are employed in the park, they are guides, so they really understand the meaning of these wild animals. So instead of killing, they try to find other ways to protect even these animals more, and even try to collaborate with the Kenya Wildlife Service or the game rangers in the park to protect these animals. So it is there, but people are doing all their means they can to prevent or to protect this wildlife. Thank you.
All right. All right. So I'm just add on that one. So they'll come to the accommodation where the people are living.
In accommodations,
where the houses are there.
In accommodations, some of the places are fenced, so they cannot be able to come in, and some accommodation they are not fenced. So in your tent, you have everything inside the tent, the washroom and all that. So
no, Lenny, I'm just asking about your villages. They usually come to your villages.
Yes, definitely. Lions come, leopards come to try to steal our livestock at night, but we always make sure the bonfire is on. We always make sure we have dogs that can alert us when something is around. So we do also our best to make sure if someone come, intruders come, we can be able to protect our wildlife or ourselves.
All right, great.
Yes.
Thank you, Lenny.
Well,
Lenny, there is a question from Rohan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rohan, are you online? Mr. Rohan? He has a question. Are there striped hyenas in Africa?
Yes, actually, we have 3 species of hyenas in Africa. We have striped hyena, brown hyena, and spotted hyena. So in East Africa, we have 2 species, spotted hyena and striped hyena. So if Rohan is coming to Africa anytime, when he visits places like Samburu National Reserve, he might be able to be lucky and see one. Even Masai Mara, we have seen it sometimes towards the Masai Mara Serengeti site. It's a site called Ololemitia site. The guides know that. And then also places like Nakuru, I've seen it. Just Samburu and Mara that I've seen one. So we have them there. So the brown hyena are found in Southern Africa. We don't have them in East Africa. So we only have 2 species.
Lenny, can you just, Lenny, Ranjit here from Muscat again.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly tell us about the other mammals that are seen in Amboseli?
What?
Other animals that are seen in Amboseli. You talked about elephants of Amboseli.
Yes.
But other animals that you're seen in Amboseli.
For the big 5, we have lion, elephant, and buffalo. We don't have leopard and rhino because of the environment. You can get the leopard outside the park. I can say in the base of Kilimanjaro, because inside the park, we don't have good habitat for the leopards. In Amboseli, we also have cheetah. The cheetahs are also there. Hyenas are there. We have zebras. That is the common zebra, because we have 2 species of zebras in Kenya. The great are found in the north part of Kenya. Then we also have wildebeest. We have the white bearded wildebeest eastern race. They are different from the one we have in Masai Mara, whereby they are white bearded western race. So we have the eastern race in Amboseli. We also have Maasai giraffe. They are found there. And then at the same time, we have the jackals. We also have caracal. I've seen caracal once. And we also have the sable cats. They are there. We also have baboons. That is the yellow baboon, because we also have 2 species, the olive baboon and the yellow baboon in Kenya. So we have the yellow baboon there. We also have the black face or vervet monkey. So we also have impala. We have the waterbuck, the common waterbuck, because when you go to Masai Mara, you'll be able to see the Defasa waterbuck. And then we also have ostrich, the Maasai ostrich. When you go to the north, you'll be able to see Somali ostrich. So yes, we have other animals apart from the elephants.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I believe we have had a lot of question and answer sessions, and thank you, Lenny. Thanks a lot. If everybody is all set, we could probably allow Lenny to rest now. He has already been talking for good 1.5 hours.
I think Abdullah said
Biju,
Thank you.
anybody else? Any other questions, or with everybody's permission and consent, we can wrap up the session?
Hey there, it's just Paul and Jeremy. We wanted to thank Lenny for the most incredible 2 weeks in Kenya, Tanzania.
Yes, good to see you guys.
How's the beast doing?
Everything is perfect.
100%.
Yes. 100% as usual.
Well, if anyone has not been on safari with Lenny, we have to say it's the best life-changing experience you'll ever have.
Thank you. So good to see you guys. Stay safe.
Wind up.
Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry,
thanks.
Sam.
Thanks everybody, and thank you, Lenny. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you all.
Punani badai.
Right.
Good night.
Thank you, Lenny.
Good night. Lala salama.
Lala salama. Lala salama.
Okay. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you.
Hi. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. See you in the next session.